We're in the middle of this series talking about what has it looked like for you to jump into this recovery journey? What was surprising? What were some of the things that you learned along the way? And we're really excited this morning to have that conversation with somebody that's been on our Celebrate Recovery team, working with students and came in maybe in a way that's not typical. Looking forward to this conversation today.
Recovery can be hard, but it's worth it. There is hope knowing we can find healing one step at a time with Jesus and healthy community. Whether you're struggling with a hurt or a hang-up or a habit, you're not alone. During this podcast, we share real stories, practical tools, and powerful truths that inspire you to keep moving forward. No matter where you are on your journey, there's hope ahead. So stick with us as we walk this path together through Celebrate Recovery.
Well, welcome to Hope in Recovery, a Fellowship Celebrate Recovery podcast where we talk life change stories, recovery conversations to keep us moving down our road to recovery closer to wholeness and hope in Jesus. And we're super excited for our conversation this morning with one of our good friends, and really excited for just what God has been doing in her life and prayerfully asking God to, hey, speak into our lives through her story. Before we get going, I do just want to say again, hey, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate you. And if you're getting something out of this, drop a like or a follow, all of that jazz. But let me introduce myself and we'll jump into this conversation. I'm a grateful believer in Jesus. I struggle with anxiety and depression, sexual addiction, and grief. And my name is Andy, and I've got the great privilege of being able to help lead our Celebrate Recovery at Fellowship Fayetteville. And this morning, I have with us a very special guest. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Yes. Hi, guys. I'm a grateful believer in Jesus Christ. I struggle with perfectionism, anxiety, and control, and my name is Ella.
Hey, Ella. Hey, and tell us what is your role on our Celebrate Recovery team right now?
Yeah, so I am currently in a position called the resident. So I work with the landing in Rogers, and I get to be a part of that team in helping with our student ministry and just assisting with all things that go into that, specifically working a lot with the students, the girl students in our ministry, getting to do open share groups with them and fun events with them, and yeah, just pouring in there. So.
That's awesome. So you're working with our student ministry, our fifth grade through 12th grade up at
Yeah.
our Fellowship Rogers Celebrate Recovery. And so you said you're a resident, and folks that are
Yes.
listening to this may not know kind of
Yeah.
what we do at Fellowship with that. And so can you just tell us what the residency program is,
Yeah.
just briefly?
So the residency program is a year-long program that Fellowships offers that essentially is a space for people who are out of college, usually anywhere from like 22 to 26, coming in, who are interested in working in ministry or just getting experience to get to serve the church for a year and have the opportunity to serve in a specific ministry, but also then get poured into by church leadership and by older members of the church as well. And so I work about 20 hours a week. It's a part-time position, but it's also more of just a lifestyle experience too. We live on the campus and we are roommates with other residents, and we have community groups together. We do classes together, and then we also get to serve at our specific ministry. And for me, that's the landing. And so a lot of my time is spent working alongside of Justin and Michaela and getting to work with them to help make the landing run, and then meeting with students, meeting with leaders, and just getting to be a part of that as well. So, yeah.
I love that. That's a great description of it. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
And so you graduated college May of last year,
Yes. Yep.
and we're looking for a residency kind of internship thing at a church,
Yes.
saw fellowships. And what attracted you towards Celebrate Recovery as a 22, 23-year-old?
Yeah. So I feel like it was such a kind of perfect unraveling of events. I had heard about Celebrate Recovery in probably like my junior year of college. I'm currently engaged, which is super exciting, but my
That's
fiance
awesome. Congrats.
actually, thank you. He was involved with Celebrate Recovery in college. So him and his roommate started attending Fayetteville Celebrate Recovery. He's a part of a step study, and so my initial like learning about it was through him, and he was always super positive talking about it. Was like, I think this would be something you would be really interested in being a part of. And then as kind of simultaneously, I started looking into the residency and knew that it was something I was interested in doing just because I had always been a part of serving the church in college and was excited to maybe get to do that in some capacity post grad. And so I started meeting with some of the resident girls, and just naturally, I had met with one girl from last year, and just through me talking about kind of like my life passions and my heart, she was like, I think you would really get along with a girl named Gabby, and she's our landing resident right now. And she's like, I think you should meet with her. I think that ministry would be something that would really be something you're interested in. And so then I got Gabby's number, we got coffee, and we talked, and it was just awesome because I don't know, I was just very similar passions, and um I think just my heart was drawn to the ministry because it is so open and vulnerable. And
Mm,
I loved, especially the student aspect. In college, I did student ministry in different capacities through camp and um, at church and stuff, but also was a part of some ministries that were secular, that were more targeting just like specific art audiences that had just like specific struggles with like a mentorship program I was a part of through a school. And it kind of felt like those two passions were combining, because when I did this
mm,
mentorship program, I loved it and I got to work with students who were going through some really hard things at a younger age, but I couldn't talk about Jesus to them because it was through a school setting.
mm,
And then at camp, it was like I got to work with students, but it was a bigger capacity and not that maybe like smaller setting as much. And so getting to combine those two things through the landing was what really intrigued me into that residency role specifically, because I was like, wow, I can work with students who are, struggling with things and wrestling through things that is difficult to go through in middle school and in high school, but also I get to point them back to Christ and not just be a positive influence in their life. So that's what really drew me to the landing residency. And then on top of that, just going back to learning about Celebrate Recovery for myself as well, and getting to know that that was something I would get to be more infiltrated into and learn about myself. So, yeah.
man, that's so cool. There's so many different parts of that that are just
Mm-hmm.
really neat to me. Love hearing how your fiance got into Celebrate Recovery in college, did one of
Yeah.
the college step studies that we offer down on the Fayetteville campus at the beginning of the fall. It impacted him and changed his life.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, "Hey, Ella, this would be a great thing for you."
Mm-hmm.
Is just cool watching the chain of that. And so you
Yeah.
got into a place to where you felt like, oh man, this is attractive. This is cool. It
Yeah.
feels different than what I've done before. The
Mm-hmm.
authenticity in there, and then you got into it. And
Mm-hmm.
so, what do you feel like was surprising once
Mm.
you got into the landing? Once you got into Celebrate Recovery, uh, what was different than what you thought your expectations were?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that, um, honestly, I feel like I was just so blown away by how open people were from like day one. I think that that's what had been told to me in a sense, but also I just never had experienced it firsthand like that. And just immediately upon my first time like going to the landing, I got to like even shadow before I started the role, and I just was amazed at how open the students were. And even just this summer, sitting in on open share groups and leading those groups with the students, I just every week was so blown away by how they just would be so comfortable to share the things that they were actually going through. And um, I was so impressed with how the curriculum set that up to exist and how
Mm.
the structures that were in place just cultivated this environment where people felt comfortable, and it actually like worked, I guess. And I think for myself, like in college, I was a part of small groups and they were incredible and awesome experiences, but it was always one of those things where we'd start the small group and it would be like 5 or 6 weeks in, and then that sixth week that was like, wow, we just had this huge breakthrough and people are sharing all these things and it was awesome. But it usually would take like quite a bit of time to get to that stage. And when I came into the landing, I was with these 13-year-old girls, and it's the first week and I'm like, wow, they're sharing so much, this is so cool. And I was just really surprised by that, of just, wow, there's like, they're trusting me because this organization has like set it up and it's been placed in this way that um one, the Lord is obviously so present in it, and I think that is the main reason why it is happening that way. But two, the systems that have been set up in place create this environment where people feel safe and able to talk about the things that they're going through. So,
Yeah, that's so cool. You know, it reminds me, Ella. So I came in to celebrate recovery through the landing as well,
mhm. Yes.
leading in the landing several years ago. And I'll never forget that first night I sat in an open share group as the leader, which is just so funny, just thinking back
Yeah.
to myself back then as the leader. Uh, and it's with junior high boys, and I don't even remember the kid's name, but his introduction was somewhere along the line of, I'm a grateful believer in Jesus. I struggle with anger, lust, and the effects of my parents' divorce.
Mhm.
And I am just like, oh my goodness. Like, what am I walking into here? And I know for
Mhm.
me, it kind of had this impact of like, golly, well, what am I going to do with this?
Yeah.
And so, Ella, what has been the impact on you in your leadership, but really more than anything in your relationship with Jesus?
Yeah, I think that for me, it was cool because while I was sitting into these open share groups with the students and leading them this summer, I then also got to be a part of Life Healing Choices group with the other
Mm.
residents. So that's something that they, but for everyone else, they implement in the summer. We on Monday nights meet and do go through Life Healing Choices, the book, and have a open share setting. And so it was cool that simultaneously I was a part of this group on Friday night and then also getting to do my own recovery, and it really encouraged me to one, just be open from the start in that group with the other residents. And it kind of took away that fear factor because I was like, wow, these students who are, so much younger than me are like so unashamedly able to just share and
Mm.
trust that the Lord is working through what they're going through. And so I think that in the sense of leadership has really encouraged me, just as I like am in groups with people my age, being open from the beginning and just talking about those things. And then also with my relationship with the Lord, it just made me feel so much more um, comfortable to really examine the things that, like I talk about in my introduction, like those things that, have always just been parts of who I thought I was. But it's like, oh no, these are actually things that the Lord can work on through you. And they aren't things that one you need to be shying away from and not talking about, but they are things that you can talk about. And also, there is actually recovery that can come from it as well. And it doesn't just have to be this thing that exists. And so, I think that's helped me a lot in my relationship with the Lord, of just trusting that He actually can, work on those things and change them in my life because he has the power to do so. And
Mm.
seeing students trust him that he has the power to change in their life has just encouraged me a lot to do the same in ways that I wouldn't have thought possible before. So, yeah, that's some ways I feel like it's impacted me.
It's so cool just what you just said there of watching the students buy into this and watching change start to happen in their life. it's a encouragement and kind of a challenge to me to walk through it in my life too. And what's cool is that we see that all the time on the adult side.
Hmm.
We see, like, I don't know how many times I've been in groups with people and we're watching a guy change and I see another guy see his example and go, I want that too.
Hmm.
But what's so cool is seeing that happen from a leader to a student in the landing.
Hmm. Yeah.
And like, it's amazing just how much God has created us to be in community together, to live together, but also to grow together.
Yeah.
Growth doesn't happen in a vacuum. And it's
Hmm.
cool even to see that just in the landing. And it's awesome to hear how God is just using what we're doing in our student ministries to impact the next generation. I
Hmm.
love that so much. Well, hey, we're going to go to a quick break real quick, and we're going to dig just a little bit more into your experience and maybe some lessons that you've learned. So let's take
Yeah.
a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hey friends! A lot of people find the process of starting recovery scary because they aren't sure how to begin or what to expect. The easiest way to get started is simply to get started. Just take that next right step and go to a CR meeting. Every Friday night, we have our Celebrate Recovery meetings at Fellowship Fayetteville and Fellowship Rogers. At 6 p.m., we have a great meal for connection with other recovery brothers and sisters. Then we meet for large group at 7 p.m., followed by open share groups at 8. Same schedule on both campuses, different teachers, different worship teams, but the same great experience. We'd love for you to join us this Friday night. It's never too late to start or start over again. For more information, go to fellowshipcr.org.
All right, we are back from our break, having a great conversation with Ella, who's working with our landing up at Fellowship Rogers, Celebrate Recovery. And, you know, we were talking just before the break about the impact of watching somebody else change, how it helps motivate us to seek that same change, that when we see something that somebody else has, we want to walk towards it. It's really cool, even just hearing how that's happening for Ella as she's watching junior high and high school girls seek freedom and embrace this incredible process of Celebrate Recovery. And so, Ella, as you've been walking through this, it's fun thinking through the leadership lens, and I love hearing that.
Hmm.
What do you feel like has been the biggest thing that is changing in your heart as you go through this?
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing that's changing in my heart is I think there's two things. One thing I already kind of mentioned, which is just being able to trust God to change things that I thought were just so ingrained in who I was as a person. And I think which I'm in a step study currently, and it's something that I feel like I'm processing through, but just recognizing that when I know it's not from my own power that I'm going to change, all of a sudden the abilities of how much my life can change and how much um my sin can be taken away increases insurmountably, because when it's the Lord who's working through me and his power is what's changing me, all of a sudden these things like perfectionism and anxiety that I'm just like, oh, this is a personality trait of mine that's never gonna be different. It's like, oh no, the Lord can actually change this in your heart, and
Mm,
getting to one, speak that out and learn how to be comfortable just being like, yeah, that's what I struggle with. I think before being a part of Celebrate Recovery, doing something like the introduction statement would have taken a lot for me to work
mm,
up to. And now it's just so second nature. I'm so comfortable speaking it out and talking to people about it. And in the past, I think it would have taken a lot of one, knowing someone and trust, and I would have had a lot more difficulty to just like say it to anyone and in front of a stage of people and things like on a podcast. And now it's like I feel comfortable, one, owning that, but two, I think it's because I trust that God is working in that and changing those things in me. So I know that um I'm not afraid to talk about it because he's working on those things in my life. um
man.
yeah.
Well,
And then yeah.
real quick, it reminds me of just the reality of 2 Corinthians 12:9,
Yeah.
where Jesus tells Paul, my grace is enough for you, For my power is made perfect in weakness. And Paul goes on to say, therefore, I'm going to boast all the more in my weaknesses. For when I am weak, then I'm
Mm-hmm.
strong. Christ's power is made perfect in my weaknesses.
Yeah.
And that reality of letting Jesus into those places. You talk about the perfectionism and the anxiety and all the thought processes that go on there. I
Mm-hmm.
struggle with those things too. I definitely understand part of that struggle, at least in my life, and coming to the realization that, man, Jesus can help reshape those strategies in my life, and they don't have to be who I am.
Mm-hmm.
That's an incredible freeing thing.
Yeah.
And it feels tough, but could it be the case that it's actually my weaknesses that Christ wants into the most? He's not,
Yeah.
he loves me. He's proud of me, but he's not after my strengths. He's after my weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's cool. I just wanted to throw that in there.
No,
I didn't
yeah,
want to
I
miss
love
that.
that.
What
That's great.
what was the second thing that
Oh, yeah.
you were saying?
So the second thing I think that's left such a big impact too is just how I approach even conversations with friends now, and even going into future Bible studies or church communities that I'm a part of in the future. I think I've recognized the importance of creating those spaces where people are safe to share, but also stepping out in that first, like as we talked about earlier, just how when you see someone else so open and bold about the things that they're going through, it encourages you to be the same. And so I think I've recognized that when I take the first step to do that in my friendships and in the communities I'm a part of, it
Mm,
allows other people to do the same. And it's something that I want to take with me even after like the residency is over and everything. So, yeah.
that's cool, man. Hmm. Have you seen the fruit of your recovery and your healing as and what's your fiance's name?
His name's Jake.
Okay, I thought it was. I didn't want to guess on the call,
No,
but
that's great.
uh, but how do you feel like it's changing the way that you and Jake are interacting?
Yeah, it's been so just honestly life changing, I feel like, and incredible to get to work through these things before we get married. It's such a
Mm,
blessing that the Lord brought it into his life. And before I started doing the residency and started my own step study, I saw it so evidently in his life of the things that he was struggling with and how the Lord was working on those things through him, and just the way his language changed about his struggles and how he learned to kind of give the Lord control over them, and just how the Lord was growing him too. I was like, wow, he is grown so much in these areas, and it really encouraged me. And then as I've joined step study now, we've gotten to talk about a lot of those things, and I've gotten to kind of see how that process played out for him, because now it's playing out for me. And I think for both of us, recognizing too the especially the past, the family dynamics, the past sin struggles, the things that maybe we had in our lives from an early age that make us who have made us part of who we are today, and how that plays into marriage. And now getting to talk about those things before and recognize, okay, these things are a part of you and these things are a part of me, and look at how the Lord has worked through them and how we are now both putting in the work to kind of create a different reality for our future, which is super exciting and just such a blessing that the Lord provided that for both of us, I think, before we get married, and has created such healthy space for dialogue and conversation about how can
mm,
we love one another better by bettering ourselves through the Lord,
yeah.
which is super. It's just such a blessing, honestly. I'm so thankful that the Lord did bring this into our life at this time. So, yeah.
Mm, that's so cool. And I just see just even on this call, like I see the gratitude in your
Hmm.
face. I wonder if you could sum it up in a sentence, if you could look at Jesus right now and just say, Jesus, I am so thankful that you did this.
Hmm.
What would you say?
Oh, I think I would say, mm, Jesus, I am so thankful that you have taken away shame and created a boldness in my heart to run closer to you as I go through struggles in life.
That's so cool. That's a man. Jesus, thank you for taking away the shame. Man, that I wonder how many people listening to this right now that resonates with. What does it look like to, man, this shame that I've been carrying for so long? Jesus, could you really take it away and use it for my good? And Ellie, you're evidence of that. That's so cool, man. Well, hey, kind of one last question for you.
Yeah.
And this is kind of in the lens of, you can think about it as somebody who was in your shoes, I don't know, 8 months ago, or somebody who may be listening to this today and maybe they're 22, maybe they've heard of Celebrate Recovery, maybe they haven't. What would you say to them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would say don't wait to start your recovery journey, because I think as a 22-year-old, I'm 23 now, I guess, it's funny, I turned 23 like two months ago. But anyways, like as a 22, 23-year-old, it's easy to feel like, oh, I have the rest of my life to work on these things and grow in these areas. And also, there's the lie that you can believe of, oh, I haven't messed up enough things yet to need this. And I think that for myself, sometimes I was a little intimidated before I started Celebrate Recovery of like, I haven't, walked through all of these extremely difficult things yet because, I've only lived this many years. But at the same time, I have had my own things that the Lord has walked me throughout my life. And I think letting go of the lie of, one, I don't need this, or two, I'm not in a place where I'm hurting enough yet to need it. It's like there is always a need to recover from the things that you have gone through and the things that you're currently going through. And there's always things that the Lord is working on in you. And so I think just letting go of that lie and recognizing that the amount of work the Lord can do in your heart at 22 that's going to prepare you, one, for the things to come. It's been really cool in step study. I'm actually a part of one that's an adult step study, so there's older people in it, and getting to talk with them and just like seeing, one, how the Lord's worked in their lives, but also them encouraging me and the other younger people in it of, wow, y'all are, taking these steps now, and the way that the Lord's going to use that as you build the foundation for the rest of your life is, something that I would have loved to have. And not in a sense of, oh, everyone's story is different, but it is, if you're at that age right now, just taking advantage of knowing, okay, I have this opportunity in front of me to, one, grow closer to the Lord, and also build a foundation for the rest of my life to be able to process through the difficult times to come and process through the times that have come in the past. So that's what I would say. Just don't listen to the lie of, I don't need it yet. So
That's so good, Ella. Man, I love that. No matter where you're at, no matter what you're going through, you can benefit from this. And
yeah.
man, I know one of the things I realized jumping into Celebrate Recovery is that this isn't a place to try and fix all the broken parts of me. It's a place to help me bring the broken parts of me to Jesus,
Yeah.
and to figure out how to do that for the rest of my life. And so I love that. Ella, this has been just a rich conversation. Super grateful for you being a part of our team, for you grabbing some time this morning, but also for the work that God is doing through you in the Landing, but more so in and with you as you keep bringing your heart to Him. And so grateful for you, Ella. Thanks for this time, and
Thanks for having
appreciate
me.
you.
It was a great time.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, if you're listening to this today and you're looking for a safe place where you can come and dump the shame at the door and start stepping into some healing, maybe bringing some of those hard places of your life to the God that loves you and wants to heal you, we've got a place for you. Every single Friday night at 7 o'clock in Fellowship Rogers and Fellowship Fayetteville, we've got a place for you and for the whole family. Whether it's, birth to fourth grade or fifth grade, sixth grade, all the way up to junior high and high school, we're here for you. Your family has a place to find healing, hope, and purpose in Jesus. And we hope to see you there any Friday night, 7 o'clock. Thanks for listening.